Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation where you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Hello, my people, and welcome into another edition of DBDS Live. I'm your host, Mel Money, and I'm here with my brother, Carl the Coach. And listen, we're just a couple of episodes away until we start the new season. But next year, listen, we're going to be added to the Pure Moment Network, which is a part of the Roku channels. You'll be able to see DBDS on demand. You'll be able to see us DBDS live on TV. So I just want to take this opportunity to give a special shout out to my brother Hazardous for making it happen. We're truly grateful. And Carl and I were pretty excited. But absolutely, my brother. So Carl, man, listen, big things is coming next year for DBDS. There's going to be more controversial topics, a host of other things. But how you doing, my brother?
Doing awesome, man. Like I said, just enjoying life one day at a time, and just trying to, as we do on a regular basis, just because they only see us on Sunday, don't realize that, Monday to Saturday, we're still promoting healthy relationships. We're still trying to get people on the same page, just to build better and bigger and better communities with healthy relationships and healthy marriages. Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up, man. So those that are new to our show, make sure you join the DBDS group, because you'll see Carl and I steady promoting those healthy relationships out there, because it's not enough, and we need to start putting that positive energy out into the universe. But that's great, man. I mean, for myself, Carl, man, it has been an amazing week. I started working on my second book, which is coming out real soon, sometime next year, putting the finishing touches on it. And also I noticed, Carl, and I'm sure you noticed this as well, it's been a lot of commotion about Tia and Corey's unfortunate situation, which made me realize that today's show, we had to do a U-turn, man. And we have to bless the people that it's not the institution of marriage that's unworkable. It's actually the people that you decide to marry to. And I want to shed light on that today, my brother. And I know you've been through a lot in your previous relationship. You've been very outspoken about it. So I'll ask you this question. Do you still believe in marriage, even though so much negativity around that particular topic?
I absolutely do. As I tell people, it's about having the right person. The right person. It's about having somebody that understands what the word commitment means. It's about understanding what vows mean. And again, I always tell people, I'm not anti-divorce. I'm pro-marriage. There are some situations where they need to happen and they need to take place, but I think a lot of times people are just not. They're not sure or don't understand the dynamics of marriage. It's work. Every day you've got to choose to get up and love your spouse every day. You got to choose to get up and respect your spouse every day. You got to choose to get up and like your spouse every day. You got to choose to be selfless and not selfish. So, yeah, I mean, I still believe in it, and I know what will happen again one day. It's just I have that kind of faith and hope. And it's just I keep the naysayers out there, but there is a lot of negativity out there about marriage.
It is.
I know a lot of people say, hey, marriage ain't for everybody, or, just don't do it. But when you realize just how much comes from marriage, what it blesses you with, and the strength it builds in the community, and what it does for your children, those different things, it'll make a big difference.
Huge difference, man. I'm glad you brought that up. And one thing that I just want to point out, thank you, people. Thank you for clapping. But one thing that I just want to point out, that what you stated is very important. You said the choice, right? The decision. I think I totally agree with you on that, because now Hollywood and a lot of people with this mindset just think that love itself is a feeling. And I presumably think that love is a verb, it's proactive. I did a post today about it. Right. Love is something that you do, as you mentioned, the choice. It's the sacrifices you make. It's that selfless behavior. I think that's one of the keys to a long-lasting compatibility with that particular person. It's not just something you feel. It's I mean, wouldn't you agree with that? I mean, it's something you do to show, to give.
Yeah, and that comes from liking and respecting. That's why I tell people you have to like and respect your spouse, and then you can choose to love your spouse. That's why when people say, "Oh, I'm not in love with him anymore," it's not that you're not in love with him anymore. You're choosing not to love that person anymore. You're making a conscious decision to do that. Because it's just like we make a decision to lose weight, and we do it every day. We grind, we go to the gym, you change your eating habits, you do all these different things. You lose the weight, so you make a decision to do that. So when you make a decision to say, "Hey, you're making a decision to say, I don't want to be with this person no more. I don't love this person anymore." That's what you're saying. It's not that you fell out of love with them. You just don't want to love them no more. And truth be told, that's okay if that's how you really feel. But we need to really understand the concept. Like you said, it's a verb. It's an action. Meaning you have to put the work in to love your spouse every day.
Well said, man.
Yeah. So
true.
My mom says that. There are days my parents been married 54 years. My mom will say sometimes, "Hey, I don't. Some days I don't love your daddy." She said, "But I love and respect him. I like and respect him, so I'm not going anywhere." And that's what happens when you're married. You're going to go in and out of love with a person because it's actions. It's looking out on the feeling and butterflies. You're never going to make it.
Yeah, very well said, my brother. I appreciate that, man, what you just stated. And believe me, there's so many different factors that you and I are discussing. The main thing is when you have that mindset, as you just mentioned, that can help you build a solid foundation, which takes effort and commitment. Because as you mentioned, marriage is hard work. I think anything in life that you value is hard work, whether you're trying to become the best boxer, or you're trying to run a business, or you're trying to become a manager, whatever the case may be, whatever you value, you're going to put hard work. Marriage is no different. So I just want the people to know that out there. So other than that, my people, if you want to know more about, if you're looking for a serious relationship, and if your purpose of dating is to lead to marriage, make sure you check out our website, because there's plenty of resources. We got the Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters Listen Up book that is still available. Also, we got my sister, Dr. Peggy's book, which is an excellent book from a spiritual point of view, The Kingdom of Pearls. And other than that, we have coaching sessions that you can take advantage of from Carl as well as myself. So make sure you check out the site, because there's no excuse if you want something healthy out there, right? So listen, today's show is titled, "It's a Blessing When You're Married to the Right Person." And what you think about this topic, my brother? I mean, it's a great topic, by the way.
It really is. And it really is a blessing. And I think that's what people need to realize. When you get married and you got the right person, it's such a good blessing. What they bring to the table, all different things. We're going to discuss a lot of that today on the show. Yeah. But it's phenomenal. And you have the right person by your side, and you're building together. It just, like I said, when you're blessed with the right person, there's nothing you won't do for that person.
Unstoppable.
Yeah, you have no problem submitting, sacrificing for that spouse.
Yeah, well said, man. And I'm glad you stated that, because we have to change this narrative, because according to Black demographics, and right now I'm reading this, my people, it states here in 2020, only 30% of African Americans were married to 48% of all Americans. And that's half, or 50% of African Americans have never been married, compared to 34% of all Americans. After reading those numbers, it's pretty sad that the institution of marriage is declining. And tonight, man, we're going to try to change that around. We're going to continue to change the notion around that marriage actually is a blessing. All right. So without further ado, man, we're going to go ahead and bring our guests into the studio, man, because I'm pretty excited. Newlyweds, I'm so excited. So coming into the DBDS live studio, they're family, and I'm so honored to have them on the show. Let's welcome back Patience and Floyd, Mr. and Mrs. Gentle. Welcome to DBDS Live.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's an honor to be here once again among two great brothers.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Very appreciated, brother, man. So listen, today's show going to be free flowing, but I just want to have you tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today. First, we'll start with Patience.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, my name is Patience, Now gentle, thank you.
Yes.
Excited about that. I was born and raised in Ghana, and I came to the United States when I was about 13 years old. So I've been here from 13 all the way. I'm 46 now. So
Mm.
we currently live in Paris, California, with our 10-year-old son, amazing son. And I'm just excited to be here to share our love stories and our journey to our wedding, our marriage, and how we've been blessed and how God has blessed us through the whole thing. So we're really excited to be here. So thank you for having us.
I love it. I love it. I mean, you both are gonna spread that positive energy out there. So let's just put that in the universe. And Floyd, next, man, just tell the people a little bit about yourself and why you're on the show today.
Yeah, like my wife said, I like what you said, Tramel, to change the narrative. I think it's time that we make it what we need it to be instead of believing what everybody else said it is.
Mm.
If you marry the right person, then marriage is doable. So just an honor to be on the show right now, and hopefully what we all share together today will put some more light on this and help some people to either get married, or if they're thinking about a divorce, to stay married.
Okay. Thank you for that, my brother. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So listen, today's show is more like a Q&A because we want to hear about your experience and what it's like to be married, And so listen, we're going to just start it off. Why getting married was so important to the both of you? And I'll come first to you, Patience. Why was it so important?
Well, for me, this is my first time getting married, obviously, and I think for one of the reasons why for getting married was so important to me was because I have a 10-year-old son, obviously, and having a two-parent home, which I never grew up in that type of environment, and I appreciate having Floyd as my partner, what he brought to the table to influence our son and the growth that I see in him, the positive, the positiveness that I see in him, and then having the stability of a father figure in his life. And I think because as a mom, I can only do mommy things. I cannot do a daddy thing. So having a daddy in his life has tremendously helped him to grow, just growing to be a productive citizen to society. And I think for me also, having that partner, someone to, live this life with, even though being a single mom, it was doable, but having a partner that that is that is hands-on, it makes it even better and it's enjoyable. So uh,
Mm.
when what I saw in Floyd when I met him and what he brought to the table as a partner, and it made me was like, well, I can spend the rest of my life with this man here. On our first date, I grabbed his hand and I was like, okay, yeah, this is my man right here.
Woo!
I just thought this was good. So I just couldn't, the other day I was thinking, I'm like, I can't even see myself without him now.
Wow.
But if you had asked me 2 years ago, I'm like, I could do it all by myself. I'm good. I got this. But now it's like, man, we're together all the time. It's just, you know, if I fall, he picks me up. If I'm sick, he picks me up. I have a partner, and it's amazing. So, thank
Wow.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Very well said. I love that. I love that. I mean, the stability, the respect that you have for this man, the partnership, the companionship within itself is a gift, and that's amazing. And Floyd, same question: why was it so important for you to get married? I mean, you hear so many notions out there that men are afraid to get married, but why was it so important to you?
Well, I've been a husband before, and I love being a husband. Um, I believe that that's one of the reasons why that God allowed me to be here. Plus, as I'm getting older, I wasn't looking for someone to just date or sleep with. Been on that road before, done that. I already know what that looks like. Plus, I wanted stability. Because one day I sat down and I thought about it. Who's gonna be here with me later on down the road?
Gotcha.
A lot of people, they die alone.
Mm.
And I think it's sad, but to think about that I have this individual next to me that's going to be here for me, like she said. If she's down, I pick her up. But the same thing she does for me, I know that she genuinely wants the best of me. That was one of the things that was important. And for me, being married, it's important for me to be married because we need to change the narrative. We need to rewrite what marriage is, and not so much what the world says or what the news says. We're the ones that have to do it. We're the ones that be in the forefront to change it. Like when we got married, in our wedding, one of the things that we prayed for was that it wasn't only going to be our wedding, but it will be God's day. And anyone that came to the wedding, our prayer was that if there were things about getting divorced, that at that wedding they would decide to not get a divorce. If there were people there that wasn't sure about marriage because of what they've heard,
Mm-hmm.
somehow what they experienced that day would give them hope to believe that it's okay to be married again. And then another thing was for those people that may have been on the fence, whether they should get married again. I mean, whether they should even get married or continue to shack up or live together. One of our prayers was that they will walk away from there and say, something, let's stop playing house. Let's make a commitment and do what we need to do. Because marriage is not just for the individual couple, but especially like Patience says, when I met her, she had at the time it was 9.
Right.
It was, I didn't get married just for her. I got married also for him. Because I wanted him to look at marriage in a positive way rather than to grow up. And then he carries on that mentality that marriage is a bad thing. Some people believe that we'll live together because if I get married, maybe it'll curse relationships. So for that reason, they say shacking up. They don't make a commitment. They'll make a commitment as far as staying together, living in the same house, paying rent. But as far as finalizing it and putting a stamp on it, they've been led to believe that if we get married, the relationship's going to fail. Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's a really good question, man, and I'm glad you brought that up. Carl, my brother, man. I mean, I know you out there in the dating world and everything, and I'm going to bring you into this conversation. Why do you think marriage is so important, especially for our community? Just to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I mean, we can use it look at it from multiple positions. One of the main ones is statistically, it shows that kids that are raised in two-parent households fare better.
Okay.
They perform better, especially
Wow.
boys. They have high academic scores. They have less behavioral issues. They're less likely to get killed. They're less likely to join a gang. They're less likely to be in jail. So those are big factors, So when we're stepping in, so all these people that want to run around and say, "Oh, a single parent, household is cool," or "I can raise my son without a man," that we're buying into what society wants us to do, and causing more problems. But when you look at the strongest communities that exist out there, most of them are two-parent household-driven communities. I mean, it's just the numbers are out there. The statistics don't lie. I know some people say, "Well, I know somebody that raised he raised his kids by himself, or she raised her kids by himself, and they did well." But that's a small sample. They want one example of somebody doing something and make it like it's the norm. It's not the norm because it's extremely tough to do. And I love how Patience said, a couple of years ago, hey, I got this. I'm going to do this. I'm good. And she was like, oh, I need some help. I'm tired. This ain't working for me. I need to get over here, Floyd. Get in my life. That's you know what I'm saying?
Right,
But that's what your partner does. And that's what the wonderful thing is when you have somebody that is your partner, they're not a sponsor, but they're your partner. You're able to build and you're able to take care of one another and you meet each other's needs. It's like I said, you got the right person and you have no problem serving and submitting.
Look at these two. Look at them. Yeah. Man. Yeah, that's amazing. Listen, before I get into some other questions, let's go ahead and bring the audience into the show. So let's hit the first comment up.
Hey guys, I love the title of tonight's show. Looking forward to it.
Appreciate that. All right.
Love and respect are the foundation of marriage. I was married for 34 years until my husband passed away. I miss him every day. It will never be the same again. Truly cherish what you both have, and please don't take it for granted. Congratulations to the both of you. Amen.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, whoever wrote this comment, we're sorry for your loss. All right. Next one right here. Sorry. Was that the same one? Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's go to this one.
Watching, great topic.
Oh, love you, mama. All right.
I want a best friend in my marriage, not this wild, passionate thing that always dies out eventually. The strongest love is between people who decide each day to love each other, despite the sometimes stupid or selfish actions of either. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I still think that people who go around chasing the feeling their entire lives will find out that such a feeling is fleeting. Yeah.
Okay. Well thought out post. We'll take a couple of more comments.
This is so sweet. As someone who's one of two major life goals to get married and have kids, this is a dream for me. Unfortunately, I have a lot of issues with self-esteem, maturity, etc. to get through before I'm ready to date, let alone marry. But one day I want what these guys have. What were some of the issues that you both individually had to get through before committing to one another? Yeah, we're gonna.
We'll address that. Yeah. You could be the third host. Anonymous. Next question. Next comment.
Everyone and their mother are waving their license around like it matters. I love them, so I married them. Whoa, that's not all it's about. You have to be willing to literally like that person and become one with that person. That includes learning everything as well as their flaws, and continue to deal with them on a daily basis. It's not just a piece of paper, it's a covenant. I hope you both have God in your life, because that's the only way your marriage is going to last.
Man, you guys are okay. And I'll take one more, I promise.
As a man who would love to be married one day, why do some women put the bag before a healthy relationship? I mean, I have my own money and I have 3 businesses, but it seems the money is all they care about. What happened to building a legacy together?
Whoa, I'll have you answer if you want to take that, Carl. Wow. Okay, brother. Thank you.
We've actually kind of did a show on that, and with something we definitely touch next year a little bit more on. It's just the way society has set things up. It's unfortunate. Yeah. I'll take it from one point. You got a perspective where a lot of men have not followed through on the things they need to do. They've not led properly, provided properly. So you have a lot of women that feel like, hey, I don't want to witness what my mom went through or my grandmother went through, and so they're worried more about getting degrees and getting the money because they don't feel that they can trust the men that are out there. So my thing is just continue to work on yourself, continue to be the best version of yourself, and you will attract the right woman who's not looking for those types of things. She's looking for a man that can provide. Because a vision is not just money. Because you can have a man that's got $1 million, but he can't provide for her. You can have a man that makes $50,000 and he provides in a way that the $1 million man can't never provide. So just have yourself in the best position you can be in.
Yeah, very well said, Carl. And I'm just going to piggyback before I come back to Mr. and Mrs. Gentle. But listen, the masculine is more about doing. I always tell the brothers that, men get the type of woman that they earn based on what they're doing. right? So you have to be action oriented. You got to work on yourself. You have to, if you want to be a provider, protector, or leader, these are the things that's going to give you better options as you work more on yourself. And the woman, you know, the feminine is all about being. So I think that women get the type of men they deserve based on the type of woman that they are. So you have to ask yourself, are you a classy woman? Are you a nurture woman? Are you not ratchet? Are you a supportive woman? Whenever you have that type of mindset, you will get the type of men or deserve based on the type of woman you are. So I think those are two of the same coins to a degree. So listen, I'm going to come back to you and I'll start with you, Patience. I really like that spiritual comment that one of the anonymous people point in there about having God in your life. But what are some other important factors that made you want to commit to my brother Floyd?
Oh my goodness.
Woo! Come on.
You said it all right now, actually. Wow.
Okay.
So many qualities Floyd had that I just love and appreciate about him. One of the things I remember I said about was that he was a man of character and a man of integrity. And when I met Floyd, again, I've always been financially stable, taking care of my son, doing everything that I'm supposed to do, and I was never the type of woman that depended on a man for financial support. Even my son's father, I've never even asked him for child support. I just thought, hey, this is what I need to do. I don't care what you did, whether you did or you didn't. I'm going to do what I need to do to take care of this child. So, and I've dated in the past, men that want to come into the picture with their, promise you the world, but they can't deliver, And for me, that was, don't come at me with money, don't come at me with talks, don't come at me with sweet, without, like you guys said earlier, without the action behind it. So when I met Floyd was a man of action, a man of, he didn't promise me the world. Hey, I'm going to give you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. He didn't do none of that. He came, he saw, he met the need. One of the things I remember, I was on the phone with him. I went to the dealer to get my car service. And of course, they gave me a list of things I needed to take care of. So I was sharing that with him on the phone. And then he said, hey, if you don't mind, can you take a screenshot of the paperwork and give it to me? I have some couple mechanic people that I know. Maybe I can send it to them and see what they think of it. I said, okay. I sent it to him. The next day, there was a mechanic inside my garage.
My brother was on point. Okay.
I was like, oh,
okay.
Right.
Okay, brother.
The fence, in the backyard is falling apart. He comes, he make a phone call. Somebody comes, they take a look at the fence. He take care of it, and I'm like,
yeah. As a man, he just want to fix it. Just want to. Okay, go ahead.
Dominic and I were here by ourselves, so of course, our backyard and then our garage door to the back. He came, he looked at it, he was like, you need some security, stuff here. He goes to Home Depots and buy locks without me have to say anything to this man.
Wow.
And for me, that was unheard of because I've always been the man in the relationship. I'm always leading, I'm always doing. So my thing to myself was like, I did not want to lead a man. I wanted to be led and be his partner. So when I met Floyd, he made it so easy for me to be the woman, to be by his side. If he's, screwing the bulb, okay, I'm holding the light, and it's just working together as partners. And so I think just him being a man of character and a man of he has never raised his voice like me. He has never shouted at me. He has never disrespected me. I have a voice with him, when I talk to him, he listened. He listened to me. He let me talk for, and before he even say anything. So I can, like I said, I can go on. He's a provider. He's, in his faith, he's a man of perseverance. I mean, he took my son like his own with nothing. You would think that he naturally physically gave birth to this child, you know. So there was a lot of qualities that I saw in him that I've never, saw in other relationships, past relationships. And then, of course, for me, he reminded me so much of my father. My father passed away a few years ago, so
Oh, sorry
although
for your loss.
thank you. He has so many my father's characteristics. And I respected my dad greatly. He was a great man. So to me, I was like, you know what? My dad's saying you to me, you know? He's not here no more to take care of me. And now he's saying you and God's saying you to be and take care of us. So, you know, I didn't have any reservation when the time came for me to when he asked me to marry him, there was no reservation because I knew when I'm sick, he take care of me. Like I know that God forbid in the near future something happened to me, he never shied away of oh gosh, you know it's hands on. He's a hands
Right.
on person. So I just encourage brothers out there. We're looking for hands on. Don't come with your pockets. Don't come with words. Come with action and be a doer. And when that right person, the woman is ready, or they are the one for you, they will see that and they'll appreciate that. You know. So that's what I got to say about my husband.
Ooh,
Oh,
I love it. I love it, man. Very well said. Thank you for sharing. I noticed one thing that you taken the safe. You know, you felt comfortable, right? And the more he made you feel comfortable, the more you was. It's like it was natural for him to lead.
Hmm.
So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Before we hit a commercial break, I just want to hear you, Floyd. I mean, what were some important factors that attracted you to patients? What was those qualities?
I think one of the main qualities was that she was consistent. I dated people in the past. When you first meet someone, they say that you meet the representative, but then much later on down the road, you meet
Oh, true.
whoever it really is. So, and I met people in the beginning that was, you know, feminine and nice and kind, um, and I entered into a relationship assuming that that's how it was going to be throughout the relationship. With patience, um, she was consistent. A month later, still the same. 3 months later, still the same.
Still the same.
4 months later, still the same. 6 months later, still the same. I think one day, I came to the house, and here come patients with a foot spa, coming down the stairs with a foot spa. I'm like, what's that for? You gonna do my nails? Uh, she literally got the foot spa, put my feet in it, washed my feet, clipped my nails, and I'm sitting there like, is this a dream? Because finding
It's rare.
someone that had a servant's heart and didn't feel like, well, shoot, uh, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that for no man. But patience was consistent. When I came into her and Dominic's life, they had a piece that was already in the home that I wanted to have in my life. So
Wow.
it wasn't no tension, wasn't no chaos, wasn't no insecurities. She and then like I said, when I came in, all those things that she said that I did it because she allowed me the space to be a man. You know, she has never been disrespectful, never talked back to me in a sense to where she made me feel down.
No ratchet communication, by the way.
No ratchet communication.
Gotcha.
Zero ratchet communication.
Okay.
There's been times that where if she even thinks that she may have said something, she'll say, "Babe, I'm sorry," and I'm like, but that's just how much she have a desire to want to honor me and respect me. And guess what? Because of who she is, it makes it easy for me to be who I am. Because before I met Patient, like I said, I always wanted to be a husband, but I never truly met someone that was ready to be a wife.
Woo. That's amazing.
Stop playing some Key Sweat up in here.
So,
Yeah, Carl, this is phenomenal hearing this, man. Go ahead, Floyd.
I think one of the things that make us work well together was that I wanted to be a husband, and when I met someone that wanted to be a wife, it was like a natural thing to do. To me it made sense. It made sense. And even now, even before we got married, I come home from work. My food is ready, or I go upstairs. The first time this happened, again, I'm like, somebody pinch me. I'll go upstairs. There's YouTube music playing on the back on the big screen, and lights, candles are up, and and she did that because she said, something. Floyd is coming home. Let me set the mood so he can relax.
Ooh, peace.
So again, I always wanted to be the man that I am to Patience and the father that I am to our son. But I never really met anyone that allowed me to do what I was naturally meant and born to do without having to fight to prove to her that I'm a man. I've never had to fight for my position.
Well, I like what he said. That's fire.
As a matter of fact, because I've never had to fight, that allows me also to hold myself at a standard to where I've got to continue to constantly strive and become better and better and better. Not only because of her, but because of Dominique. So I understand that this position that I have carries with it a lot of responsibility. I think a lot of times as men, we tend to look at all the benefits, but the responsibility outweigh the benefits.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Outweigh the benefits. But if you do what you're supposed to do as far as when it comes to responsibility, the benefit's going to be there.
Yeah.
So I love what we have. I love serving.
It's so much to unpack what you stated. And Carl, just listening to the Floyd and Patience, one thing that I noticed what he just stated, he did not have to fight for that position. It seemed like their relationship, just hearing you guys, it's not competition, it's more of a collaboration. And Carl, I mean, that's the beauty when you're married to the right person, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And I think
wow,
one of the dynamics you'll see, and I'm not being negative, but the marriage is a struggle because they're competing with one another.
Okay.
Like Floyd said, I was able to do naturally what I wanted to do because of who I'm designed to be. Patience puts herself in a position where she allows him to do the things, but it makes it the more she allows him, the more he wants to do. And I think that's what a lot of people miss in general in a marriage. That's what it is. It's out. If you try to outserve one another in your marriage, there's no way your marriage fails.
Wow. It's almost, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up because it's natural. It's not as if, use this as an analogy. It's not as if it's a donkey relationship. Like people are stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
It's more like you're dealing with a stallion, one that's, easily trained to make you want to just get on and you're both in this to the long haul to win that race. Because it's like when you both are doing that, it's just natural, man. It's like you're putting that fuel in that rocket ship to keep on going up and up and up.
Right.
You're not sucking the oxygen from that. So kudos to the both of you. Listen, I do see some comments in here. I promise we will get to them after the commercial break. When we come back, don't worry, Floyd and Patience, I will get back to you. But actually, you know what? This is your day. This is the Floyd and Patience day. So listen, please go ahead and add something else before we hit that commercial. Go ahead.
When I'm at Patience, I used to always tell her, I said, and she'll vouch, I used to always tell her, because this is how I really, really believe. I never believed the relationship had to be difficult. To me, it didn't make any sense. Why is it that the one thing that I'm supposed to be able to do naturally, why is this a struggle?
Mm.
You know, I think there's a quote I heard that said, "Love itself is not difficult, people are." You know,
Man.
we're the ones that make love difficult. Love is not difficult, but I think every day I wake up, I'm asking myself, how can I serve this person? How can I serve my wife? How can I serve my son? Being married, when you're married, is a very unselfish choice that you make. You know, you can't be selfish and be in a relationship, because then if you're selfish, then marry yourself. That you're good for to say I do to is you. So
Man.
you know, when I said I do, I meant when I said I do, I meant I said do the taking out the trash, do the wash on the car, do the getting the nails done, do to being a father and a good example to our son, do to constantly grow and challenge those areas of my life that I might be struck, that I have challenges in, do to not become comfortable, in any area of my life. If I'm going to continue to grow and become what she needs me to be and what my son needs me to be.
Man. Man, with that being said, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Listen, we are talking about it is a blessing to be married to the right person. This is DBDS Live. Don't you go nowhere. Trust me. All right, welcome back to DBDS Live. Once again, a special shout out to my brother Hazardous. We will be on the Roku channel, Pure Moment Network. If you have a Roku stick, a Roku device, make sure you get one. All right, so we back with Mr. and Mrs. Gentle and my DBDS brother, Carl the Coach. Today's show is titled, It's a Blessing When You're Married to the Right Person. And I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone tuning in. So now, I'm going to go ahead and hand the reins over to my brother Carl for the second half of the show, and I'll let him take it away.
So appreciate it, my brother Mel. Hey, this has been a phenomenal show already, man. I'm telling you, I'm just sitting over here with goosebumps on it. Listen to you guys sharing. So, So another question I think everybody wants to know: how did y'all meet?
Oh wow.
Who wants patience? You want to tell? You want Floyd to tell? I got to hear
my husband to tell.
Wow. Let me get some water for this one right here. I'm curious too. Come on.
Well, and now this is the funny thing, because I can't tell you the date that I met anybody else that I've ever met but her. So that right there says a lot.
Right.
It was January 9th, 2021, at approximately around 12:30, 1 o'clock. It's a restaurant out here that I normally go to. Anyways, me and my two friends would normally go there after we got to working out at the gym, just to think tank and talk about life. And now, my money now, this was in the midst of COVID that I met her. Everybody was like this. You know, this is the only time you can enter into a place with a mask and not be fair of being trying to rob the place. But me and my friends was there. Their food was ordered. They turned around, walked out the restaurant. As I was about to turn away to grab my food, I heard a voice say something to her. So I turned around and introduced myself. I said, "Hey, my name is such and such." I shook down, I acknowledged Dominique, and I said, "Hey, I don't really have a lot of time, but if you give me your number, I would love for us to talk." Now, backtrack. Prior to that, I had been praying that God would bring something in my life, and my prayer was, God, when you can no longer hear the words of my mouth, hear the words of my heart. And so when when she walked in, and the voice says, as I'm about to grab my food, turn around and say something to her, I did that. Anyways, I got in the car, and again, from the eyes up, she looked fine. She was beautiful, pretty eyes, but I didn't know what her lips would look like. So, when we got to the car, we exchanged pictures. I said, "Oh, okay, I was beautiful. Everything else looked nice."
Okay.
Anyways, that was a Saturday. I called her that Sunday. What are you doing? We met at the park. We went and got something to eat, and we went to the park. We ate, we talked, and I said, "Well, we'd like to go for a walk," and we went for a walk. And she grabbed my hand. I'm like, "What's this?" I just mentioned you grabbed my hand already. So she grabbed my hand.
I grabbed onto his, right here,
Mm-hmm.
and I started walking with him.
Kidnapping. But when we walked around the park for a while, we got back to the car.
Okay.
And we were sitting in the car, and we started listening to Afrocentric music, Afrobeats. And so she got off the driver's seat car, and she was doing all that. And she said, "Well, come around to the side over here and talk." And yes, I did that. And it's been like that.
And we've been together ever since.
Wow.
Oh
Man. She was on rhythm when she was going like.
I was on rhythm, yes.
Yeah. She was exuding all the melanin.
So patience. So like I said, how did you feel the first day when you met him? I mean, what was going through your mind?
Well, I think for me, I appreciate the fact that, like I said, he didn't come at me with, "Hey baby, I got this, I got that." Like he came at me very respectful. He didn't come at me with money. He didn't come at me with, promises. It was just genuinely having a conversation with another human being, And when we went on our date, it was simple. He wasn't flashy. And
Was he making it
right,
rain?
even when I was dancing, he didn't let it
Okay.
rain,
Okay.
you know. And he was interested in getting to know me for who I am, you know. And I was comfortable with him from day one. I've been comfortable with this man. He wasn't a pervert, or he wasn't trying to be like, you know, he wasn't on me physically. It wasn't even about the physical, you know. It was just about just us talking and getting to know each other. So our first date was, like I said, it was simple, but it was nice, you know. I walked away feeling, like I said, when I was talking to him, and envisioned myself like I could be with this man. Like he is a wholesome human being that I could be with, you know. And that's why it made me grab his, you know, his arm, even though he was looking very good, you know. But I, but I think it just, yeah, like I just felt comfortable with him. I felt safe, even though I didn't know him that well. But he didn't come at me in a way that made me feel like, ew, get off me, or like you're disgusting, you know. I was very comfortable with him. And when I got sick, yeah, on our second date,
I got
actually,
sick.
yeah, on our second date, during the daytime, I went to help a girlfriend of mine move, and I ate something. So we were going to a drive-in movie. He comes pick me up. We get to the movie. He paid for it. We sit in the car. I started feeling hot, and I asked him. I said, "Ooh, can I step outside? It's too hot." So I step outside. I get back in there. I wasn't feeling well, and I said, "I'm not feeling well." And then he said, "Oh, let's go. I'll take you to the hospital." And I was like, "No, it's okay. Let's just watch the movie. You just paid for the movie." And he was like, "No, we can watch the movie another time. Let's go." And I'm like, "No." So I stayed in there, and then he was like, "Let's go. I'll take you to the hospital." So as soon as we get in the car, I said, pull to the side, and I just started throwing up. I threw up like
Oh.
4 or 5 times before he got me home, and I was looking disgusting, obviously looking a mess, but there was not one moment, 1 second that he made me feel, you know, bad about anything. He was just like, "Hey, it's okay. You know, you look beautiful. I got you, you know." And again, just that comfort I had. So I really appreciate that about him, you know. So that's when I knew, like, okay, he got me, and I just trusted him.
So Mel, so listening to what they're saying, this is phenomenal. But you and I talk about it all the time. Sometimes the simple first dates are the best dates because you get to really know someone. You get to talk to this person. You get to spend time. You know, you have a similar story to that too. You know, with the simplicity. We know when you started dating April.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I share it all the time, man. Our first date was downtown Middletown. We walked around for 2 hours. All we had was a foot-long Subway sandwich and a strawberry colada. But the conversation was so in-depth that we spoke for the entire 2 hours about her passions and what my passion. And we kind of like slept with each other's mind. Like the mental factor was just so strong that it drawn us together so much. So, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, anyone can spend money on someone but it takes a lot of effort to get to know someone. The money factor is easy. So that's what I tell my sisters out there as well as my brothers, man. So kudos to the both of you. Love it.
Definitely. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a phenomenal thing to just, when I always say when you take that money out the equation and you just really spend time with each other and you just really look, have those intimate conversations over the phone, in person, FaceTime, whatever it is, it makes it so much better. And I think those are the ones that build those lasting, loving and long lasting marriage relationships you turn into marriages. So, first flying somebody out courtside seats and let's go to the Bahamas and do all this other stuff. And that stuff doesn't even work. And then you're like, well, I got all this stuff done, but are you with any of those people? So, that's the next thing right there. Now, you're out of money and you're out of a man. I mean, it's just, go get a sub sandwich.
Absolutely. So listen, we have some comments. Oh yeah, we got plenty of comments. They keep coming through. So listen, we're going to go to this first one right here. It says the mechanic example was good. I'm glad that she let him take the lead. I know many women will be like, nah, you ain't taking my car to your mechanic. I only trust the dealership, etc. All right. That's true, anonymous commenter. So next one right here. Happy for both of you. I pray God continues to bless your union. I have been married 54 years. Woo. Amen. There were ups and downs, but we fought to stay together. There is only one thing I will say to both of you. Your immediate family is always first in decisions you make. Do not let outsiders interfere or interject poison, into your marriage. Work out your problems, pray a lot, and you will last together a long time. Again, bless you. Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Next comment right here from our sister Angela. Wow, I will never decline that offer. Okay. Okay. Love it. Next one right here. This is from Latoya. She said, unfortunately, there are women who will. I had a discussion with women who didn't even let the man help them carry groceries. Yeah, it's a lot of sisters now allowing the brother to leave.
Wow.
It's pretty sad. They're lost, unfortunately. You know. Next
Let a
one.
man be a man.
Exactly. Okay, well, valid. I forgot to say, my husband and I still enjoy one another.
Amen.
Naomi sending some love.
Oh, thank you, Naomi.
All right. Next one. If you want to have a long-term happy relationship, or if you desire to be married to your partner, do not make winning arguments a goal. Being a winner means there is a loser. Argue to reach common ground. That's my advice. Thank you for this show, DBDS, and congrats to Floyd and Patience.
Thank you.
All right. Carl, are you trying to say we as ladies need to be more open to simple dates? Uh-oh.
Yes. With a capital Y, a capital E, a capital S, and a bunch of exclamation marks. Oh man, yeah. You know what? Sometimes simplicity is fun,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like being spontaneous. It's just fun instead of worrying about the steak. If you're getting the shrimp Dijon dish and all this other stuff, and you got to be all made up and all this other stuff. Go have fun. You know, have fun. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the moment, because this may not be the person you're going to be with. So why not enjoy yourself? Because those fancy dates are not going to be the normal date throughout the entire marriage. You're going to have the sweatsuit and the ball cap type of dates, even in your marriage. You're going to see each other that way. So why not be comfortable in the beginning
Yeah,
and build to the other stuff? So
exactly.
yeah. So the next question I got for you guys: did you guys do any type of individual and couple counseling, premarital counseling, before you got married? And what work did you do even prior to that part on yourself, so that you could make yourself available to find somebody to marry? Patience will start.
Okay. Yeah. For us, we did do a couple premarital counseling before our marriage. It was about 6 weeks. Yeah, about 6 weeks. And it was amazing.
Nice.
What helped us a lot is our faith in God. We both have very strong, Christian background, and not just religion, but our just personal relationship with God. And I think, I remember even the pastor that counseled us had us fill out, it was like a questionnaire that they put together to see, they actually different type of, from sex to income to how you grew up to everything. And each one of us, we did it separately. And then after you're done, they'll put it together and then see where you're compatible with each other, and then talk about, everything. And it was funny because we were like about 80 something % compatible. We answered the questions just basically so many, just similar, like, you know, and we were able to get to, know each other even more. And then just so everybody's aware of, when we decided to get married, we took sex off the table. That was one thing that him and I both decided, that we wanted God to bless our relationship, and we wanted our relationship, to be blessed. So we took sex off the table, and we were not intimate until the night of our wedding, and we were engaged for about a year and a half. Yeah.
You remember that? A half. Oh, go ahead.
Don't forget the half.
But because of both of our faith and what we wanted, it wasn't even a struggle. It was just something that helped us. For me, what I did prior to meeting Floyd was, I have never really had a one-on-one personal counseling with anyone per se, but I think my faith, the Bible, and just my conviction, and being part of being aware of myself and the different relationships and things I've been in, and making a decision to to work on myself through reading books, listening to different podcasts, the different things to help me to be a better person, to be in a good space and ready for when I met Floyd. So I was able to I wasn't carrying baggages. I didn't bring in my past relationships.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't have one foot in our relationship and one foot over here trying to figure things out. I was ready. I knew what I wanted, and so when he came in the picture, I was able to embrace him and embrace the qualities and the thing that he brought to the table. I wasn't blended by my past, and I didn't make him pay for what others have done to me in the past.
Wow. Okay. Man, fire.
That was what allowed me to be able to see him for who he was. And again, like I said, we had so much in common, and our values and our religion really play a big role on where we are today.
That's powerful. Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I if I come to you, Floyd, I love he didn't have to pay for what others did.
Yes.
He didn't, so many people they miss out on someone because they have not forgiven the past people, and they make the current person pay for what somebody else did to them in the past, and then they end up, like I said, losing out on a good person because you run them off because you're making them suffer for something they didn't create. That's so powerful there, baby. Floyd, you want to?
Say it again.
Same question. You want to? What did you guys do before? Did you do the premarital counseling? I know you said you guys doing that. What did you do individually for yourself? To prepare yourself for this.
It's so funny because before I met Patience, I was in my place, and I was downstairs, and I remember I prayed. I said, God, I said, I really, my heart, and I really would like you to bring someone into my life. But he told me, he said, I heard a voice say that, well, you need to sit yourself down and work on yourself.
Right.
You have to become for yourself first what you want to attract.
Right.
And so, I sat myself down, went to therapy, asked myself some hard, difficult questions, about myself, about how I live in life, about everything. And it was funny because, okay, if this is what you want, I've got to prepare you for that. Again, my desire was to also be a husband, but what happened is when you go through relationship after relationship, you gotta get purged from all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Even before you enter into any, because whatever it is that God has good for you, you have to be good for that relationship. God can't bring you something good, and you're not healthy enough to receive that. And so, I did a lot of work with myself. I asked myself those hard questions. So when I met Patience, I was in a place where I was ready. And it's not to say that that I'm perfect, or there are still some areas of my life that that's totally 100% healed. But the areas that would have destroyed me having this woman in my life, if I didn't work on those areas, if I didn't work on those things, I would not have been able to track. I think another thing too is she mentioned how we took sex off the table.
Mhm.
Even when we made that decision, do you know who God held accountable to make sure that decision went through? Me.
Mhm.
Even though we made the decision together, but said, okay, Floyd, you asked me to give you what you wanted, and I'm giving it to you. Now, what are you going to do in return for me? How are you going to honor the gift of giving that I gave you?
Mm.
And so when I looked at her and we decided that one of the reasons why we were able to do that for a year and a half was that I looked at who she was beyond who she was. Just look at this physical.
Right.
I looked at the woman that I knew she was on the inside. I looked at the woman that I looked at the woman that I believed that she could become. Now, if I had just been in a relationship with her and it was just all sexual, I would have missed so much that what God wanted me to see about her. Because again, before I knew her, God knew her. So what better person to go to learn about who this individual is than the person that created her?
Wow.
Oh man, that's powerful.
Man.
That's so powerful. I'm ready to pass the collection plate.
Me too.
and take up go do altar call and everything else.
Word.
We need to go ahead and move to, but that is so deep and powerful, Floyd. Like I said again, and again, you put it on you. Who was accountable? The accountable person in this situation,
Right.
and dealing with that. So, Mel, I mean, we talk about this. How important do you think, getting that individual counseling part? Because healing never stops.
No,
We
never.
talk about that. Healing never stops. We just get to a place, as Floyd said, that you don't destroy something. And I always tell people, you can get, as long as you're healing forward and not healing backwards, you can position yourself to be loved again and love again. So, what are your thoughts on premarital counseling and the individual counseling that people need to really do? How important do you think that is?
That's very important, Carl. And April and I, we had pre-counseling, and I have to say that it helps identify, I believe, core beliefs. It sets sets realistic expectations for marriage, and it decides the ways in which our lives will be merged into one, right? I think understanding your partner, because a lot of married couples don't understand each other, especially when it comes to the small disagreements, which can become a bigger problem, which I would say 80% or close to 90% of the time ends their marriage. So those are the lessons we took when we went from pre-counseling, and we still do them to this day. It's almost as if it's a relationship tune-up to keep things moving along in the right direction.
Oh man, that's powerful. So we got any more comments there before last question comes up?
Yeah, come on, here we go.
During our pre-counseling, I remember we were asked about debt and credit card history.
Oh,
I think financial issues are number one for why couples get a divorce.
wow, that's a great comment, by the way.
I'm gonna say this, and I understand the way it's number one. It's really not. It's communication, and we're gonna bounce into that here in a second. But
Yeah.
It's not communicating finances, because everybody talks about finances, but there are so many different things you can do, but you're not communicating about it. What are things you can cut back on? What are things you can get rid of? It's really having that conversation, and I think that's what it is. I always tell people, the biggest reason for divorce is lack of communication. It's not
finances, right?
It's not finances. It's not adultery. It's not. It's just not willing to have an emotional, mature conversation.
There you go.
That. So, any next comment? Was that the only comment?
That's the only comment so far.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So, last question, Floyd. Basically, communication is exactly what we're talking about. Is in any type of relationship. Mm-hmm. What are things that you guys have implemented to make sure that you have that open lines of communication for your marriage consistently?
That's a great question.
Okay. Well, I think for us, we have never had a problem talking to each other about anything. You know, like I said before earlier on, Floyd's a very easy person for me to talk to. So I've never held back on talking to him about anything. And for us, I think the respect level that we have for each other, we don't raise our voice at each other. We don't disrespect, we don't over talk each other. We don't, even if it's something that we don't agree with, we allow the other person to talk, express whatever it is that they're desired to express. And then afterwards, obviously, you give your input or you whether agree or disagree. So, and a lot of things for us, for me, he's the type of person that he doesn't rush to judgment, and he's not judgmental. So it gives me room to talk. And then when I know that when there's a decision is made, he's not, like I said, he doesn't rush to judgment. So he's able to think it through before, even if we have to purchase something big, he's not a type of person spontaneous. Oh, let's buy this and think about it later. It's like, okay, I'm gonna research this and let's see what's good here and what's bad, and then we compare. He's not. We don't really. Honestly, to be honest with you, we have not had an argument or have gone a day and said, I'm not talking to you, I'm mad at you. We don't even do that. We really don't like that. I can't sit here and tell you that, oh, this is what we've done. We are able to, we communicate with each other, on a daily basis, whether through a text message or whether it's in person or whatever it is, hey, this is what's going on. What do you think? Or, I was thinking about doing this. What do you think? Or this, that's, we just everyday life, even with Dominic, since Floyd have been in our lives, I have always given him room to whether discipline, whether talk to him, whatever it is. There has always been a room to do that. I've never been the type of person that it's like my son and I don't want you to talk to him or I don't want you to say anything to him. We all are able to talk to one another. He talked to Dominic. I'm there or I'm not there. Hey, what do you think? What do you think about what we're saying? We don't raise our voice at each other. Just respect. I think what we do, we respect each other. And because of that, I can't even see myself disrespecting him by raising my voice or, talking to him sideways. I can't even do that because he carried himself so well that I just respect him. So I can't.
I'm telling you, y'all keep giving me goosebumps more and more. Y'all my family to begin with, but this is it's wonderful to hear, the R word, the respect word, and I always tell people you can have healthy debates, in a marriage. You really don't want to argue to the point because that's where I think somebody made a comment when you try to win, somebody's a loser.
Oh, that was a great comment.
When you're arguing, that's when you're trying to win a debate. You go to the next level and argue with that. So, Patience, I tell you, Floyd, you got you a good one over there, brother. So, I'm gonna tell you, I just love what you're saying with that. What are your thoughts, Floyd, on the communication piece?
You know, something that Patience says was so important. I think a lot of women fall short in this area. She has always created a safe space for me to communicate with her.
Wow.
I'm gonna say it again. Not one time has she ever made me feel that what I have to say to her is not valid or important. You know, she gives me the ability to express myself.
Okay.
You know, and to me that was important in past relationship, past marriage. That was something I was missing. I think a lot of things, because of how she treats me and how she communicates with me, that helps me to want to even find out additional ways that I can communicate that to her. You know, I think it was something in the Bible when God told Adam to name every single living thing in the Bible, and I read that so many times, but it's something that I missed, and I read it. In order for Adam to give everything the correct name, he had to study it and see what characteristics was of each one of those things so that the name matched. So when he said, I'm gonna call this person woman because she comes from my side, it wasn't like the same day that he was given the assignment that he automatically named it. So one thing I've had to learn is to study patience. I had to learn to study Dominique. You know, areas where I think I might be right, I second guess and I go back and ask God to show me a bigger picture of what I see, of what I think I see, to make sure that I see the same thing, or if there's some things missing, how to come at it. But again, if she didn't give me the respect she gives me, if she didn't give me the honor she gives me, then I'm constantly in battle mode, having to prove to her I'm a man, which then hinders me from being in a place where I can hear from God to be able to study her.
Right.
You see, and so communication, like she says, is very, very important. We talk about everything, but we keep the line of communication open. You know, we're communicating. If I'm at work, I'm sending her little messages. I'm sending her little funny emojis. You know, I'm asking her, "How was your day?" Once a week, I bring her fresh flowers. Wow. You know, I'm constantly looking for ways for me to constantly, because see, communication is not just verbal.
Yeah.
Communication is the things that you do, not once a day, not on Valentine's Day, not on Christmas, not on a person's birthday, not on your anniversary. It's the little things that you do every single day that communicate to that person you love them. Because I can tell patients I love her all day, but if I'm not communicating those things in action on a regular basis,
yeah, all lip service.
And so I communicate with words. I communicate with with the things I do. And I think we have to broaden when we talk about communication with each other. There's so many different ways that we communicate, and we have to find each one of those areas where we can communicate in, but do better in communication in.
Right.
I love that, man. Phenomenal. I know.
Yeah. Mel, what do you think on communication? I just, because as I hear what they're saying, it's awesome.
It is.
Some people may say they're over communicating, but do you think there's a can you over communicate in a marriage, in a relationship?
Not at all. I mean, one major component when it comes to communication is looking to see the bigger picture. And what I mean by that is both individuals are trying to find a middle ground that both parties are satisfied with. But another thing I just want to outline, which I love what Floyd and Patience are stating, is that marriage consists of compromise and sacrifice. And knowing that you're going to get through these issues together as a team will help you see the brighter side and the light at the end of the tunnel. See, a lot of people in marriages, they just see it as black and white, and it's either their way or the highway. But they have to understand that when you are both trying to win an argument, then eventually both parties will lose, right?
Right.
So over communicating is actually a good thing because you're trying to find a solution or within that gray area to try to solve the problem. But good question, Carl. Good question. And we have a couple of more comments before we head out to our last commercial break. But before doing so, Floyd, you want to add, or Patience, you want to add something else?
I think it was something that Carl said. You know, I think there's a quote that, so do you want to be happy? Do you want to be right? You know, I think one of the things as well is, this is not my enemy. You know, it's important that that we battle. If we have an issue, we attack the issue. We don't attack each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think a lot of times when a couple is together, okay, oftentimes whatever the issue is, that's the issue. Work on the issue. Talk about the issue. Try to come to some type of resolve about the issue or some type of understanding about the issue. You know, but then you start the argument, you're fussing and fighting, you forget the reason why you're together.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like if we have an issue, even if I have a challenge or a problem, even before I approach that patient, I'll go away and I'll pray and I think and I ask God, what is the right direction to approach it? Because everything that I say to her could either set us back 2 steps or push us forward 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so even with Dominique, I asked for wisdom. What do I say to him? Everything that I say to him is shaping his identity of the world, how he's supposed to communicate, how he's supposed to treat women, how the value that he places on himself, how he sees himself as an African American male. You know, and so it's vital that we learn how to communicate in an effective way.
Yeah. Very well said, man. Carl, we can go all night on this conversation, man. I'm glad that they're blessing us with these nuggets, man. And I think another thing that Carl will agree with, and I'm sure you guys will agree with as well, part of that communication factor is controlling your emotions, right? Mm-hmm. And controlling your emotions does not mean you're emotionless. It just simply means that you don't allow your emotions to be an excuse to hurt your significant other. Like for me, for example, being angry doesn't mean to be condescending to your wife or your husband, or being disappointed doesn't mean that it's okay to use ratchet communication. So that's another portion of the communication aspect, is controlling your emotions. So let's see, we're going to take a few more comments, then we're going to hit a commercial break, and then we're going to hit up our Jerry Springer moment. So let's see what we have here. That's a very long comment, but I'll go ahead and pull it up, though.
In my experience, and I have a functioning relationship, which doesn't mean we never fight, but that we have a good conflict resolution skills. My experience is that the fighting definitely always boils down to the fear of losing connection. It does also involve the need for emotional safety. What is ultimately vital to the peaceful resolution and reconnection on both ends of a conflict is to responding to your feelings rather than reacting to them. Great show, DBDS. We need more conversations like this. Congrats to Mr. and Miss Gentle, and remain strong.
Damn, well thought out comment. Appreciate that, whoever that is. You need to come on the show, whoever wrote that. Okay, next one.
I tell married couples, know your partner. If you say, I feel very hurt to a narcissist or possessive person, it is like food and energy to them. They will continue to attack you.
That's true.
That's true.
You are both designed for one another. Just think, she is patient and he is gentle.
Oh.
Now they are married together. 2 great words to have in a marriage.
Wow, mama, you dropping bars. Okay. And the last comment right here.
If there's time, I'd love to hear how abstaining enhanced your relationship.
Okay. Wow. Sorry, I wish we did have more time, but that's really good. You know, we'll do a part 2. I promise you, the new season, we are going to have more of these conversations. So we're going to take one last commercial break. When we come back, it is about that time to do the Jerry Springer moment. This is DBDS Live. Sit tight.
You know, you and I, we talk all the time, and you know, and really, man, I just give, you know, much love and appreciation to you for, you know, founding, you know, DBDS and starting it, man, because it's not normal. You know, there's so much banter back and forth, and you know, just like you and I talked about earlier, you know, before we got on, who's going to raise the white flag first?
Hey! That's beautiful.
Hi, I'm so excited. This is my first queen takeover. Usually I'm in with the fellas, but I'm excited today.
So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel and much love to the DBDS family.
Mel, take it away.
Mel.
Are you single? Do you know about DBDSsingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at DBDSsingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
All right. Welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Gentle, and I'm here with my brother DBDS Carl the Coach. And listen, we just been talking about the beauty of being married to the right person. It's actually a blessing, and this has been such a phenomenal show. I cannot continue to say that, you know, because this has been. But if you enjoyed this episode, you can catch us on our YouTube channel. You can also check us out on other outlets: Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor Radio, as well as Radio Republic. You know, a lot of different outlets. So you can also check us out on dearbrothersdearsisters.com. All right. So first, I'm coming to my sister Patience. Give the people who's watching your final thoughts for today's show.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you, Carl and Tramel, for this amazing opportunity for us to share pretty much our love stories and our journey to when we met to where we are today, marriage, and what a blessing it has been. I think you guys, the title just fit perfect, because when you meet that person that is perfect for you and is made for you, honestly, you couldn't have asked for a better relationship. So I thank God definitely for just blessing me with this amazing man that He created for me, and I can't even see myself without Him right now. So
Wow.
I feel honored, I feel blessed, and I pray that I continuously to, you know, be the best version of myself every day for Him and for our family, and to the sisters and brothers out there, you know, I just encourage you just to be true to yourself, you know, and simple sometimes is best, and you know, love yourself. And, really, when that king or that queen come along, you don't have to fight to prove your position in that relationship, you know, and let that king, sisters, let him lead. It's okay. You're not, you know, you're not losing your independence. I am still the same human being, the same person I was 2 years ago before I met Floyd, in the sense of I still do pretty much the same thing I did before. It's just that now I have a partner to do it with, and it's okay. You know, I did not lose my individual, you know, as a person. I haven't. I love being married. I love being his wife, and you know, it's amazing. So give yourself the time and a chance, and don't let him or her pay for the mistakes someone else has done to you in the past, so that you're able to embrace what God has in store for you.
Wow. Thank you for sharing your knowledge of wisdom. Appreciate that, Patience. And to you, Mr. Gentle, what are your final thoughts for today's show?
Like Vincent said, thank you guys for this opportunity. I believe this show was something that needed to be done. I thank God that He chose us to do it. You know, that within itself is an honor. I think that we understand the responsibility we have as far as being married to each other. It's not fluff and stuff and pixie dust and hair flying around the house on a regular basis. Is that we have to get up every day and we have to show up every day. Love each other every day. Random acts of kindness every day. Being unselfish every day. And then constantly finding ways to continue to add to the relationship, because as we continue to grow, there will be different stages of our relationship that we need to grow in and we need to add to. And I think that what I did yesterday or a year past that currently is good enough. I've got to constantly continue to grow and continue to strive. What I recommend is that, first of all, do the work on yourself. I can't stress enough about therapy. You can't give to anyone what you don't have to give to yourself first. So, I recommend doing therapy. If you have trust issues from a childhood, if you have where you've never been validated, and the reason why you're getting married is the validation to compensate for what you didn't have as a child. Do the work. You can't say you want a healthy relationship if you're not healthy yourself.
Right.
You have to bring a whole person into a relationship. Once again, that's what I encourage each other, encourage the people that's watching. If you may have been hurt and you feel that maybe getting married is not a good thing for you, marriage is not the problem. It's how we treated it. It's not understanding the benefits of, not only benefits, but also responsibility of that union. And I think once we understand that and we have more shows like this and we talk about shows like this, I think more people will begin to say, something, let me try this. Like I said, in our wedding day, our prayer was that God would use our relationship, use that day for people to know that marriage is not the problem. It's us.
Wow, very well said, my brother. Oh, Carl, man, we can go on and on, man. This was a show that was needed, especially during cuffing season, to counteract that notion, that narrative. But what are your final thoughts for today's show, my man?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I appreciate Mr. and Miss Gentle coming on, my brother, my sister. It's just, they definitely, to me, and I tell people, don't take this the wrong way, but if you have no hope on marriage after listening to this, you're hopeless. It's really, you need to take a strong look at yourself and really do some work, because this was absolutely encouraging. I think to me personally, I think it's the best show we did all year in 2022. I don't see how. Wow. Because it's real and it's counterintuitive to what is being promoted in the atmosphere and the whole, well, marriage ain't all that, or it's easy to walk away, or the glitz and glamour of what Hollywood offers, and it's these IG marriages, and it's not that. It's something simple. It's something basic. They met at a restaurant. They talked. They went on a simple date, and they've been together since. And I think too many times, the biggest takeaway for me tonight with this is too many times people are looking for something exquisite from the jump, and they don't even qualify for that part yet. Not to say they don't deserve it down the road, but they're not even qualified for it yet. Instead of taking something simple and building off of that, to me, I tell people, be encouraged. I'm like Floyd. My brother, he and I have talked about this for years, 12, 13, 14 years. We've talked about things and stuff. But I tell people, I was birthed to be a husband. I was never birthed to be a boyfriend. So I have to date accordingly. I will only date someone who's going to, wants to be married at that point in time. That's what people need to understand. What are you really looking for? What are you dating for? And if you're not looking for marriage, let somebody know that in the beginning and stay out of the person's way. Stay out of the way of who they really are designed to be for during that season. So, but again, this was a phenomenal show. Just the different things that it said, the things that we talk about, when you get, I got to touch on this real quick if I forget. You talked about how she gives you a safe place to be yourself and to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to speak and share, which in turn allows you to be even stronger, sharing more and building more. And that's so important. And I think a lot of people take that as weakness or something else when men are saying that, but that is so true. I tell women all the time, you give a man a safe place to speak and you protect his heart and protect him, there's nothing that man can't accomplish and won't accomplish for you.
Whew.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
And, so I have to piggyback on Carl. This is the best show that we've done in 2022, and we're going to do more of this in 2023. So I just want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Gentle. And before I provide my final thoughts, I just want to say that when you're married, listen, to the right person, it truly is an amazing experience just hearing Floyd and Patience share their wonderful experience with us. And sure, marriage has its ups and downs, but just like anything in life, if you truly value something, you do the work. But from my perspective, to all those that said marriage is just a piece of paper, marriage is actually more than just a piece of paper. In fact, marriage is a three-way covenant between man, woman, and God. Period. And the purpose of the government being involved is because the powers that be are supposed to stand in place of God on earth, sealing the contract on God's behalf along with the married couple. And once it's all said and done, your marriage certificate is signed, sealed, and delivered before God until death comes to divide you apart from your mate, because that's a spiritual connection that helped to make your marriage last. So don't allow the hookup cultures or the radical feminist movement or these on and off celebrity relationship status become your blueprint on what they assume that the grand purpose of marriage should be. All right. So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel and much love to the DBDS family.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Take it away, Mel.